Okay, welcome to today's lecture. Today we are going to complete the 2D electrostatics for the FDSOI double gate MOSFET structure, which is the current technology node, state of the art. So before we begin with today's lecture, let us recap a little bit about what we have completed in our previous lecture, okay, so that we can carry forward. So one of the most important um, observations for this DGMOS is basically how to deal with very small scale devices. Okay, so where remember when we were dealing with the standard conventional MOSFETs, we were essentially looking at it as if the channel length LCH is much larger than the um, let us say the depletion width. Okay, or that means the whole point is that means the vertical electric field was always much larger than the horizontal electric field, horizontal or lateral electric field. As a consequence, the main behavior of the 240 MOS, okay, so the conventional MOSFETs, they are essentially based on the behavior of the inversion characteristics of a MOS capacitor. Okay. In the case of DG MOSFETs, however, we are going to have a completely new dimension of analysis and modeling and all that, because in case of double gate, in fact this is basically the precursor for FinFETs. So you are essentially going to have the modeling of this DG MOSFETs in which you cannot ignore the x direction field variation as well. Okay, so you have to take both the variation of Fy, that is the vertical field, as well as Fx, which is the horizontal field. Okay, so essentially meaning that your Poisson's equation, which we will solve today, you will have to find out a trick or some method, some way, some technique in which you can solve the Poisson's equation uh, for 2 dimensions. Okay, that's the topic for today. But before we go about that, let us first find out the approach which we have done in our previous lecture. Again, just a disclaimer, all of this, whatever I have shown, is not available anywhere. This is the modeling which I use for my own research. Okay, so this is getting recorded and I want you to practice from these lectures only, because you won't get it anywhere else. These are part of my own research, research in modeling. Okay, so let's begin. So in our previous lecture, we saw that this is a very typical DG MOSFET architecture. Okay, so if we want to find, so first our first approach is to figure out the 2D potential profiles. Then we will find out the surface potential, which is 1D. Okay, so I have used the series method, power series method of mathematical modeling, and I established that all the powers or all the coefficients greater than a n greater than or equal to 3 will be 0. So essentially meaning that your potential profile is always going to be a parabolic relation. Okay, in almost all the papers in the world, most of the people, they will write that this is a parabolic approximation, but I remind you, it is not an approximation, it's a mathematical reality. Okay, okay, so after we get that, now our objective will be to find out a0, a1 and a2, these three coefficients. Again, in the process of this derivation, we had already shown that a0 here was equal to phi s. That was equation number 1. Then a1 here was equal to this term. That was equation number 3. So 1 and 3 already provides us this two relations, a0 equal to phi s, a1 equal to this term. The only x dependent term over here is the phi s, which is the surface potential. Remember, I told you always, like I will focus on the surface potential based modeling in this course because that is the current standard. Okay, so now from equation number 2, let us look at where it is here. Okay, so from equation number 2, what we did was we expanded it because we remember that it was n equal to 1 to infinity, but we know that from n equal to 3 to infinity, that means coefficients will be a3, a4, a5, a6, they will all be zeros. Okay, so essentially meaning that if I'm essentially expanding this, you will be left with a0. Sorry, it is n equal to 1, right? So a1 tsi to the power 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, so a to tsi to the power 0. So is a1. N equal to 2 means a2 tsi. N equal to 3 means a3 tsi square. So a3 is 0. And all the higher terms are 0. So essentially meaning you are left with only this relation. So from there we will get a2 equal to minus a1 by tsi. So from there, this is your expression for a2. So we have got a0, a1, a2, and therefore the 2D potential profile is given by this relation. Okay. So once we have obtained the 2D potential profile, it's very simple to get the field profile. So the vertical field profile will be minus del del y of f, this phi xy, and essentially you get this. Okay. Here is a y and here is another y. So this bracket becomes y minus y square by tsi. Uska derivative nikalo. So that becomes 1 minus 2y by tsi. Very, very simple. Okay. Now fx of xy, that means the lateral field fx as a function of xy. So that is 2D. I'll simply put a derivative with terms of ddx. Okay. That will give us minus d phi s dx, because phi s is the only x dependent term in this whole relation. This the remaining part remains the same, epsilon ox y, epsilon si ts tox, and these are all x independent terms. In this third bracket here, what we observe, only phi s is the x dependent term, so it becomes minus d phi s dx. Cool. So I will just take minus d phi s dx common. You will be left with 1 minus this term. Okay, and you are left with this. Now, a couple of observations before we go into today's lecture is this. Notice that here I have already written, when we are trying to find out the um, I have shown here that when we are trying to find out like y equal to 0, so this implies, let us say, pi x comma 0. क्या होगा यहाँ पर? You put y equal to 0 here, so this entire term vanishes. Okay, so you will be left with only phi sx. Okay. At the same time, if you are putting y equal to tsi, that means the bottom gate. Just imagine what I'm trying to tell you. This is your tsi. Okay, this is the origin 0 0. This is 0 tsi. So at the bottom gate surface, bottom surface, this is the top surface. So top surface के लिए phi x comma 0. Bottom surface के लिए क्या होगा? X comma tsi. So if you put it over here, this y becomes tsi. Tsi by tsi will cancel, giving 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So again, this entire term vanishes. You are left with only phi s of x. So that, what does it imply? Since this is a symmetric double gate structure, okay, so your bottom and the top surfaces are going to share the same surface potential. Correct? Very nice. So now this is actually what I wrote here. So it's not necessary anymore. Okay. Then I'll try to bring this up. Okay. So from the vertical field perspective, the vertical field on the top surface, that means y equal to 0. If you put y equal to 0 here, it simply turns plus. If you take y equal to tsi, that means this y over here essentially becomes tsi. Tsi cancels. 1 minus 2 is minus 1, giving you a minus over here. That's exactly what it's supposed to be, right? Because the field on the bottom surface is opposite to the direction of y, whereas the field on the top surface is along the direction of the y. Okay, so in the previous case it will be negative. Okay, in addition to this, I wanted to show something which is very crucial for your understanding. That is, what is the value of Fy at x comma TSI by 2? So we will replace this y by TSI by 2. As you can see, 2 will cancel, TSI cancels, giving you 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Excellent. Okay, exactly midway in the device. Okay, so that means, what does it imply? The field exactly at the center of the device. So if I am drawing an exactly at this place, okay, TSI by 2, the vertical electric field is 0. What does it imply? What does it mean physically? That means the electric field on the top and the electric field from the bottom, they will cancel each other out exactly at the center. Okay, this is going to be important when we are trying to derive the currents for this device. However, that is beyond the scope of this course. Okay, now we come into the effects part. Okay, so effects means essentially again del phi del x. Okay, so you are left with this relation. So that is where we finished off in our previous lecture. So from our previous lecture, I have simply copied these three boxes. Okay, this box is not necessary actually. Okay, these three boxes are the take home message from our previous lecture. So now we will build on this, because right now we have understood that these three models are 2D potential profile model. This is 2D vertical field profile model. Okay, this is 2D lateral field profile model, analytical models. Now the thing is, these models will make sense if and only if we know what is the value of this term. Rest of the terms are known. If you notice, VGS is something which you are applying. Okay, so we need to find the phi s in order to get a meaningful understanding of this. Phi s means essentially Fs also, in order to have a meaningful understanding of these relations. Okay, so our objective is now to figure out the value of the 1D potential, surface potential profile. 1D, because surface potential is only x, function of x, right? Okay, so for that, we will again begin with the Poisson equation. I'll start with the fundamental one. Okay, this is the first Maxwell's equations, Maxwell's first equation, also called the Poisson equation. So remember that D is equal to epsilon times of the field F. Okay, this implies divergence of F. Okay, now this epsilon, these relations are universal. In our work, we are essentially dealing with epsilon silicon only, correct? Okay, so what does it imply? This is now where our DG MOSFET or ultra small scale 7 nanometer devices differ from your 250 nanometer device. That is, this divergence now takes the form del fx del x plus del fy del y is equal to rho v by epsilon si. Okay, now what is the value of rho v? Let us again redraw the structure. Okay, this is n plus, this is n plus. This is the P region. Later on, we will see that the fundamental property of FDSOI, remember in a couple of lectures earlier, we discussed about the FDSOI devices in which the doping should be very, very low so that we can ensure that the depletion width. So this is your, okay, I'll not draw it here. Okay, told that this TSI is much lesser compared to the WDM, correct? So that makes it FDSOI. So if this is an FDSOI device, your NA, that means the doping over here is going to be very small. How much small? We are going to look into it. So here, let us put your VGS here. Directly, we will put VGS and VGS, symmetric double gate, right? So this source, we can simply connect it to the ground. This N plus is the drain. I'll connect it to VDS. Okay. Otherwise, what you can do is you can put VG, VG, VD, and here you will put VS. That's also perfectly normal, perfectly okay. But let's do it this way. It's easier for us to think as a circuit designer. All right. So once we have these uh, like terminal potentials and the dopings, so this P is basically Na is the doping. Okay. Whether it is small or big or how much is small with respect to what, all those things we will calculate later so that you understand the physical feel of it. As of now, we will just take it as the general one. So what is going to be the rho v over here? Notice that Na are acceptor atoms. Okay. So when they ionize, what is the charge they will get? They will basically accept electrons which are minus q electronic charge. So this rho v essentially becomes minus q Na. Rho v is the volume charge density. So that means Coulomb per centimeter cube. So Na is how much per centimeter cube? That is the number of dopant atoms, acceptor atoms per centimeter cube. Minus Q is the Coulomb charge. So basically you are getting the same. Very good. So once we have got this, now let us put it as equation number, kitna tha? Okay, equation number 1 for today's lecture. Okay, so now we have to figure out the expressions for del fx, del x. Okay, fx we already have it here, right? So instead of this fs, let us put the actual expression. Minus d phi s dx. Okay, that's what I showed over here, previous lecture. Okay, so del fx, del x is equal to, notice that the only x dependent term is here itself, so it becomes minus d 2 phi s dx square. Okay, rest of the term remain the same, so I'll just simply copy from here. Okay, so just keep in mind, what does it imply? That del fx, del x at the surface, that means top surface means y equal to 0, as well as del fx, del x at the bottom surface when y equal to tsi. ठीक है, यहाँ पर what is this point over here? This is y equal to tsi. What is the point over here? Y is equal to 0. याद है ना? Let me just annotate the axis once again. So this is y in nanometers. This is x in nanometers. ठीक है? So TSI is a silicon film thickness. Okay, so once we have got this, in both the cases, if you are putting y equal to 0, that means यहाँ पर 0 आ जाएगा, this whole is gone. When you put y equal to TSI, so you are putting a TSI here in place of this. So TSI by TSI, that is 1 minus 1 again cancels. So you are left with again this. So basically del fx del x is always equal to minus, ठीक है? Okay, so now we will try to find out the other term del fy del y. Fy किधर है? ये वाला, right? So let us find out the value. Notice this third bracket has got no y dependent term. Epsilon of x by epsilon si t of x, this is a constant. This first bracket 1 minus 2y by tsi has this y. So if you are taking a derivative, this 1 minus will be gone. 1 will be gone. You will be left with minus 2 by tsi. Y will be basically, I mean, that will vanish because of this del y. Okay, so minus 2 by tsi. So what do we get finally is minus twice epsilon of x minus twice epsilon of x by epsilon si tsi t of x. Very nice. And the rest of the term again I shall copy. Okay, what is interesting is that this rate of change of the fy with y, this happens to be independent of y. Okay, now remember in the case of our conventional MOSFETs we simply ignored this term. Okay, so this term was ignored because why? Because the rate of change of the lateral field with respect to x was very, very less compared to the rate of change of fy, vertical field with respect to y, because of long channel approximation. So if you do not have a long channel approximation, you have to include this term as well. Okay, so notice that this relation is independent of y. Okay, so that means this rate is the same all throughout this device thickness. Okay, now at the surface, at both the surface, let us say, okay, so that means when y is equal to 0 as well as y equal to tsi, in दोनों situation में, ठीक है, what will be equation number 1? This one. So I'll replace del fx del x with minus, so I'll just write here, it becomes minus d2 phi s dx square plus df del fy del y. So this whole thing. Okay, let me just copy. Okay, then this term Nice, right? Now, if you notice that there is one phi s here, there is also a phi s here. The other terms are constant. So let us put them over on the right hand side. So now our equation simply, and by the way, there are minuses, these are minus, right? So we will finally get a2 phi s tx square, then this becomes plus, because if I simply, okay, let's do this, it will be easier. Okay, d2 phi s d2 phi s dx square minus this part will remain. d2 phi is dx square minus, just tell me if I am making any mistake, because I am writing it, solving it right now in front of your eyes. So sometimes I might make mistakes here, especially because I'm explaining in the process. So minus, again this term here, and finally this term vgs minus vfp. Okay, now this term is going to be one of the most important parameters for any of the 3D devices. FinFETs, Omega Gate, uh, Gate All Around, GAA, TFETs, our own tunnel FETs, GOT FETs, any of the modern FDSOI devices are going to have this parameter somehow or the other. So that is the reason why, I mean, as I said, like whatever we are going to do it, like the complete modeling of the DG MOSFET. However, we are not going to go for the current modeling, but I'll tell you how to do it for those of you who are really interested. Um, but this electrostatics will give you a lot of insight into the device. So that's the reason why I'm doing this as part of this course. So this part, if you notice, let us uh, define like uh, the parameter. Okay. Um, if I take the inverse of this, so what happens is epsilon si TSI TOX divided by twice epsilon OX. What is the unit of this? Its unit is length. You see epsilon SI, OX. Both epsilons are farad per centimeter square. They'll cancel. TSI into TOX, they are length into length square. Now what I shall do is I'm going to define this square root of this as a parameter called ln, which is called the natural length of the device. Why is it called natural length? I'll explain in a minute. This is going to be a very, very important parameter. In fact, this ln is not there in case of kind of, conventional devices. Why? Again, we will explain that. So this natural length comes into the picture only when you are trying to solve a 2D Poisson equation, okay, for ultra short channel devices. So in this natural length, what we observe is, um, okay, so you can clearly understand that the unit of this is in nanometers. Okay, So defining this natural length ln as this, so what do we, how can we write this expression, this equation, sorry, d2 phi s dx square minus phi s by ln square, okay, is equal to q na by epsilon si minus vgs minus vfp whole divided by ln square. Nice. Now, if you notice carefully, observe carefully that the right hand side is a constant. Of course, we are considering like VGS as of now is a DC value. So it's a constant. On the left hand side, it essentially becomes a second order differential equation. Okay. So if you want to solve this, okay. So what is the standard solution for this? Note, this is second order differential equation, but of degree how much? Of degree 1. There is no square term or anything. So that means phi s x, because phi s is, now this is a differential equation, second order differential equation only in x, no y business over here. So with this technique, what we have realized is that the 2D Poisson equation, where we had got both x and y variation, so the simplest approximation for this would be if we take a long channel device, simply isko hata do, we'll simply remove that. But it's not possible for us to do that in case of ultra short channel devices. Now, with this technique, what we have realized is that with the method which we are following right now, this modeling approach, we are able to do it for a second order differential equation, all right, but only it involves x. Okay, so the phi s x, that is now, as you can see, phi s is what? The potential profile, but it is not the, it is only the surface potential profile, which is variant only along x direction. Okay, only along the surface, take care, only at x equal x, y equal to 0, at x, y equal to tsi. Okay, so that's what I mean, at both the surfaces, y equal to 0 as well as y equal to tsi. Okay, tabhi ye valid hoga. So we are now concentrating only on finding out the expression for phi s. As I said in the beginning also, that phi s is the factor which is missing in these 2D potential models. All right, very nice. So phi s x is going to be equal to a e to the power of, like remember your high school mathematics, your engineering mathematics. So a e to the power of plus x by ln plus b e to the power of minus x by ln plus c. Okay. So let us do one thing. We have to find out now, our objective is to find out the values of a, b, and c. Okay. The complementary, this is your complementary function. Your particular integral is c. Okay. You know all that from your engineering math. Kreyszig, Grewal, any of those books. So now what we will do is that we will first derivative, take a derivative of phi s. So basically we'll get d phi s dx, you know, will be equal to 1 upon ln bracket में a e to the power of x by ln minus b e to the power of minus x by ln. C is of course gone. Therefore d2 phi s dx square is equal to, क्या होगा? Again 1 upon ln square bracket में a e to the power of x by ln plus b to the power of minus x by ln. Now, if you come to back to this equation, this implies a e to the power of x by ln plus b e to the power of minus x by ln will be equal to phi s minus c, correct? So that is something which I'll write here. So that becomes 1 upon ln square. Instead of this one, I'll write phi s minus c. Now again, how about this d2 phi s dx square? That is given by this equation, right? Okay, therefore d2 phi s dx square के बदले में हम क्या लिख सकते हैं? I'll just take this phi s by ln square on the right hand side, so that becomes phi s by ln square plus this whole thing I'll copy from here is equal to, what is remaining? Only this, right? So if I take phi s by ln square minus c by ln square. ठीक है? So clearly this will cancel out. This implies c is equal to q. Okay, there is a minus here, right? So let's write this vgs minus vfp minus qna ln square by epsilon si. ठीक है? So out of this ABC coefficients, I have been able to figure out the value of C. Now let us find out the expression for that. For standard doping, okay, so for standard Na equal to, okay, for let us say typical values for epsilon Si is equal to 11.7 epsilon naught epsilon Ox. Okay, epsilon Ox is equal to 3.9 epsilon naught TSI. I'm just taking the standard values here, 9 nanometers. TOX, let us say, is 1.5. This is the modern technology which we are talking about. Okay. In fact, these are the dimensions which we are using in our GOT-FET devices also. Okay. Tunnel FETs, GOT-FETs, and as you know, GOT-FETs are being published every now and then. So one of our papers are still under review. One of the paper is like is in under the draft. Okay, so we are writing another paper which are actually using these dimensions. FinFETs also use these kind of dimensions. Okay, so these are very, very standard. The only difference which I would like to tell you is that this epsilon Ox value which we have chosen is for SiO2. Okay, but remember that and this silicon value is also Si. But once we are speaking about our GOT-FETs or FinFETs, we never use kind of silicon or SiO2 anymore. We will replace this with HFO2, and this silicon will be replaced by silicon germanium. Okay, so in our GOT-FETs, in our own devices, like this device was invented by myself. So what I'm suggesting is that in the latest devices, modern FinFETs and all, people will be using silicon germanium and HFO2. Silicon germanium ke liye this epsilon will essentially become 15, around 15. Why am I saying around 15? It's because it will depend on the mole fraction of this. So actually silicon germanium is an alloy, right? So it will become 1 minus X GeX. So accordingly, this epsilon keeps changing, but it will be roughly around 15. Okay, for all practical purposes, you can use 15. Pure germanium will be around 16. So because of the silicon, it is going to be less than 16 for germanium. It is going to be more than 11.7 for silicon. Okay, anyways, so this is one thing which we have to keep in mind, that the values which we are choosing are for pure silicon here, pure SiO2 here, but in modern technology we are using HFO2. For HFO2 this becomes 22, okay, instead of 3.9. So essentially meaning your natural length, as you can see, this is larger. Okay, so what happens, your ln is, of course epsilon Si is going to be larger because we'll be using silicon germanium, but eventually your ln will be slightly reduced even further in modern technology using these materials. However, I'm not going into those complications, so let us, I'll just leave this Si and SiO2 here just to keep your like awareness, to make you aware that we are using these materials for your calculations, but in modern technology we use different materials. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, so in the interview somebody says like, what is the value of ln? This equation is perfectly correct, but the values for our illustration purposes, because I want to figure out what is the estimate of this particular term in this value of C. So that's why I'm taking some standard values using silicon and SiO2. But be aware, I'm reminding you once again, in modern technology, we don't use silicon and silicon dioxide. We use silicon germanium and hafnium oxide. Anyway, so once we have this, your ln becomes equal to, okay, it's approximately equal to 11.7. Epsilon naught, I don't bother because they will cancel. TSI is nanometer. Okay, this is 1.5 nanometer. Okay, divided by, sorry, okay, 2 into 3.9. That becomes 4.5 nanometers. I did the calculation, so I found this is an easier number to remember and do the calculation. So that's why I chose these particular values. Okay, but this can be different, obviously. So once you have got the value of ln, now let us calculate this factor. Q Na ln square by epsilon si. Again, I'll put one tilde, is equal to, Q का वैल्यू क्या है? 1.6 10 power minus 19 into Na. I will choose the very standard values, 1 ppm. But you might be thinking that is a standard value. How do you take it here? Because this is FDSOI and all nanotechnology, right? So if I'm taking like 10 power 16 per centimeter cube, it is almost like intrinsic, very, very low doped. So basically, you are not going to have, I mean, you are going to have FDSOI. So this is 4.5 nanometer square divided by epsilon si. Again, I'll choose the standard one. Now, please note that whenever I'm writing 10 power minus 14, this is in farad per centimeters. Okay, so that means this is nanometers, means how much in centimeter? So this and this will cancel. You will essentially be having 3.129 10 to the power of minus 4. Unit क्या होगा इसका? VGS unit is volts, VFB in volts. This is also going to be in the same order, that is in volts. Now this is negligible. Compared to correct. So you can essentially ignore this. So you have got the value of C over here. Now, how does our phi s look like? Phi s is equal to, okay, A e to the power of x by ln plus B e to the power of minus x by ln प्लस सी के बदले में सिर्फ VGS माइनस VFB लिखेंगे. ठीक है, for all practical purposes. Okay, we're almost done now. Now we have to find out the values of A and B. Okay, so what is the value of phi s at x equal to 0? Phi s, that is the surface potential either here or here, doesn't matter. So phi s on the surface at x equal to 0. That means at this origin. क्या होगा? That is basically this n plus region, which is a source which is connected to the ground. That is equal to 0 is equal to x equal to 0 बिठाएंगे इधर पर a plus b plus vgs minus pfp. Okay. Now, what is the other way of doing it? We are going to find out x equal to capital L. What is the capital L here? So this is your x equal to 0. This is your capital L. That means L is the channel length here. Don't make a mistake with capital L and ln. Okay. So now you understand that why is it called the natural length. I told you, no, it's a natural length. First of all, I established that ln is going to have the units of nanometers, and also it is kind of, it's in the dimension of length. Correct? Now, in this case, we realize that the order at which this phi s is going to change is the e to the power of x by ln. So here also you can understand x is in nanometers, ln is going to be in nanometers again. Correct? So that means ln is again a length unit, length term, length parameter. So it simply gives you an exponential variation with respect to this particular natural length. It's something like the time constant. Remember, we used to do t by tau. Okay, so it's something like that. It's a natural uh, thing. So here phi s x equal to channel length L is equal to, इसका वैल्यू क्या होगा? So at L the surface potential is going to be VDS. Okay, you have applied VDS to the drain terminal, right? So that is equal to VDS. So now we understand that here is how your VDS has come into the picture for the first time. We have been dealing with VGS and VFB everywhere. Is equal to A e to the power of x by ln, that is L by ln, plus B e to the power of minus x by ln, that is minus L by ln, plus okay. So how to get this A and B? Simply we will use matrices. I have seen even now, even in the master's degree, students will start elimination method like whatever they have studied in their school. I have no idea why. Use matrices as much as possible. Linear algebra at its best. Now, for the first one, what do we get? VDS minus VGS. So VD minus VG, that is VDG. Minus VFB was here, it becomes plus. Okay, यहाँ पर क्या होगा? Minus VGS plus VFB. Okay, this will lead to capital A is equal to VDG, sorry, plus VFB e to sorry, plus e to the power of minus L by ln determinant of this matrix e to the power of VDS, sorry, e to the power of L by ln minus e to the power of minus L by ln. What is the value of B? B will be equal to e to the power of minus L by ln VGS minus VFB minus VDG plus VFB divided by therefore phi s is equal to okay We already have the, okay, a e to the power of x by ln. So यहाँ पर एक x e to the power of x by ln आ जाएगा, यहाँ पर भी e to the power of x by ln minus x by ln आ जाएगा. So what we'll write is vdg plus e to the power of x by ln minus other term vgs minus vfb. I'll take this first. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
for the value of b, it should be e to the power of L by Ln into minus VGS plus VF for b, sir.
Yeah. b e to the power of minus l by ln
E
vgs
to the
minus
power of L by Ln.
e to the power of l by ln.
Yes, sir.
Yes, there will be a minus in the front. Let me see. B will be e to the power l by ln. This minus is there, na? This minus I'm taking outside. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Not here. Because it is VGS minus VGS plus VFB. This whole factor comes here. So it will become minus. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So now we will be getting VGS minus VFB. I'll take outside. Okay. So minus this. So e to the power of L by ln. And here is e to the power of minus x. So minus x by ln. So L minus x by ln. L minus x by ln divided by plus this term VGS minus VFB. Okay. Therefore, what is the value of phi s here? VDG plus VFB. This upper term becomes sine hyperbolic x by ln sine hyperbolic L by ln VGS minus VFB sine hyperbolic L minus x by ln sine hyperbolic L by ln plus VGS. Okay, so this happens to be the expression for now. If you notice, all the rest of the terms are known to us. Okay, what is this? This is surface potential profile. Right? Model. Okay, so once we have obtained that, therefore, what is the surface field Fs? It is simply defined as minus d phi s dx. Okay, na? So here, if you notice, there is one x here, the other x is there. So the sine hyperbolic becomes cos hyperbolic, and this ln comes in the front. So you will be left with only VDG plus VFB by ln cos hyperbolic x by ln Here it is a minus x, so that becomes plus. Whole thing divided by ln. This is gone because this is a constant with respect to x, and fs will not have that term. Okay, so this is also the surface field. Okay, couple of things to remember before we conclude. So this implies that phi s at 0 क्या होगा? Sine hyperbolic of 0 is 0, so this term is totally gone. Sine hyperbolic L minus 0. Okay, so this is sine hyperbolic L by ln, sine hyperbolic L by ln. So this term becomes 1. So what you are left with, minus VGS minus VFB plus VGS minus VFB. That becomes 0. That means surface potential on the source junction is 0. Has to be, it is grounded. Then what is the other one? And phi s at channel length capital L is equal to, when you're putting L by ln here, L by ln means L minus L is 0. So this whole term is gone. L by ln, this is also sine hyperbolic L by ln, this will go. So VDG plus VFB, so it is VDG plus VFB. And here it is plus VGS VG. That's exactly what is expected to be, because now we are speaking about the channel length distance. So at this junction, you are going to have the same drain bias voltage, correct? So you are getting exactly that. Awesome, as expected. So our model is correct. Now the surface field potential profile, if you notice, you are going to have a different kind of variation because of this X and all. Okay, that will be utilized for finding out the currents. So now if we go back to our original approach, okay, so let me just stop presenting here. I shall present the entire screen. Let's go to no. Notice how we started with the electrostatics of the like, as you can see, 2nd February 2000, like in November, 2nd November. Okay. All right. So when we were dealing with the 2T MOS electrostatics, we began with the same Poisson equation. Okay. Remember these? This is exactly what we did today. What we have done is, in the long channel MOS, what we did, we ignored this del fx del x term with respect to this. Okay, this is our own lectures. So what we realized is we did not even bother about this del 2 phi del x square anymore. We simply had this. So that's why instead of partial differential equations, I've simply used standard differentials. Okay, and what was the end game? The surface field. Okay, so once we obtained the surface field, we went on to find the total semiconductor charge. That was the end of this class. Okay, that was class number 20. Then in 21, what we did was, we began with this charge and we went on for different accumulation region, flat band region, and blah blah blah, everything. So entire modeling was based on this surface potential and the surface field. Okay, look into the lecture on 2nd November. Okay. Now, in today's lecture, what we have learned is, see, for the last two, it's slightly more complicated because we are using both the dimensions. So we are not ignoring this uh, this del fx del x term as we did for long channel approximation. So, but we have figured out a way, a technique to solve it. That's the way which we have shown. Finally, we arrived at what? The surface potential model as well as the surface field model. So once we have the surface field model, we can literally go along just the way, just in the same approach as we did for our standard one. So if you notice, we arrived at the surface field and then the total semiconductor charge. We can also do the same over here. We have obtained the surface field, and then from there we will get the total semiconductor charge, and then I mean you can proceed as the way we did for onset of moderate inversion, strong inversion, everything that whatever we have done. So our master equation was this total charge in silicon, right? So we can do the same since we have obtained the surface field profile. Okay, so that's all for the modeling approach for 2D short channel devices. Okay, this basically goes on for FinFETs also, Omega Gate, Gate All Around, like any of the latest technology which is running inside your smartphones. Okay, so every device in modern technology are basically being modeled in this approach. There are some other approaches also, but this is the approach which I like, and I'm using it in my own research as well. And this is mathematically perfect. Okay, so this is the end of this course. So as you can really understand that if you go by the handout, we have essentially started with the basics, and instead of, but one thing I'll tell you that since the time was limited, I did not go into BJT. For the last couple of weeks, we have been dealing with SOI, DG MOSFETs, FinFETs, and even semiconductor metal junctions and all. Okay. Instead of all these, I could have studied, I could have taught you BJT and optoelectronic devices, but I'll be honest with you, it's not possible to do everything together. And if many of you might have noticed that we have already crossed around 45 lectures in this course, in spite of the fact that we had lost 1 month. So what I did, as you can clearly understand, I converted this lab sessions into these kind of many of the classes. So I wanted to give you more and more number of content in this course rather than um, evaluation components. So if you notice that there are a lot of evaluation components in the terms of your assignments, in the term of your literature review, as a kind of a group work rather. I mean, I do not find any reason to discourage, you know, kind of, group effort. So that is one of the things which I always find it important. In fact, you have to learn how to work together when you are in industry, rather than not allowing anybody to copy your work, that kind of attitude. So what I'm suggesting is that I encourage group work. So now what I have got to say is today is the last lecture for this course. I hope you have learned kind of many things here. And I have emphasized only those topics which are really helpful for your placements and in the state of the art. So I have simply skipped BJT. If anybody wants BJT, I do not know why. If you want BJT, then I'll be more than happy to help you out with that, because I teach BJT at the BTech level. But anyhow, the BTech students, they usually turn out to join IT industry, so I don't really bother so much about them. But I guess most of you are interested to go into core jobs, right? So core industries, they will never bother about BJT anymore. So I went an extra mile. As I said, this DG MOSFET FDSOI is totally out of the syllabus. I'm telling you, it's not even there in the textbooks. Okay, this is a 100% research topic which you have learned for the last 3 lectures. Okay, so what I'm suggesting is that um, there is a feedback component also, I guess. So just feel free to give your feedback, because your feedback really helps my career in bits. That's also true. But again, as I'm telling you, like if you take it in the wrong perspective, like sir hasn't taught us BJT, or sir hasn't taught us, let us say, optoelectronic devices, but believe me, there is not a single company, not a single place anywhere in the world where BJT is actually used, or you will end up in doing BJT. In fact, I couldn't say this around 5-10 years ago, but right now nobody even bothers, because in BJT and all, you cannot even think about technology scaling. You cannot think of 5 nanometer BJT. Okay, so modern technology is all about the last few lectures whichever we have done. So if any one of you suddenly have the interest of doing research, okay, in fact, um, if anybody turns into like R&D in industry, or else doing a PhD somewhere anywhere in the world, then this is where you will begin. Okay, so my whole objective of this course was to bring you all the way from quantum mechanics, which I of course skipped lots and lots of topics over there, but because my whole objective was to bring you to the state of the art. So right now, if you have been following this course, right now you are at the state of the art. You can seriously claim that you are at the state of the art. Thank you for being my students for this whole semester, and I hope to see you in the next semester as part of the VLSI design course. And I might request you to give the feedback. I do not know how this online feedback works. Anybody has provided? Prudviraj or anybody, Shashank? How is it done? Because in physical classes, I'm supposed to give you the forms. I do not know how it works in the online mode. Probably you can do it. But all I'm suggesting is like, I mean, I did my best. Thank you so much for joining. And in the next semester, we will essentially build on whatever we have studied over here in this course. I'm not going to go into the device aspects anywhere in the next semester, because over there we have got a huge and a lot of ground to cover in the form of the circuits. Okay, especially next semester course will be oriented towards 45 nanometer technology node. Okay, so as you can understand that this 2D this DG MOSFET, whatever we are learning, this is the state of the art. So 5 nanometer FinFETs also will have the same modeling approach as we have done over here today. Okay, but the circuit designs we will be doing in the next semester at 45 nanometers, because 45 nanometer library is the one which we are having. Okay, now it is possible to do with 7 nanometer, 14 nanometer FinFETs also for the circuit designs in the next semester in advanced VLSI design, but unfortunately uh, we do not have the, you know, the technology library for it. As you can clearly understand, like 7 nanometer technology node is routinely being fabricated by industry right now. So it's not available in the public domains. For academia, we cannot get 7 nanometers. So for academia, we can only get 45 nanometer technology node, and that's what we'll be using in the next semester for doing the layouts and everything. Okay, that's all for today and for the semester, of course. So if henceforth we are not going to have any formal classes, and if anybody has any doubt, please ping me on the email. You can come and meet me in my chamber, in my office, or else post on your Google Classroom. Okay, just contact me. Okay, so if we find that there are I mean, if you can decide, like if there is any topic where many of you are in dark, in that situation I can of course organize some offline class, and all of you who are having the same doubts, you can assemble and we will essentially clarify all those doubts. Okay, anybody questions, anyone, comments?
Sir,
Yeah.
in lecture 28, I have this doubt of like you have did the approximation and you did the derivation, there is some ambiguity in that.
Okay, where is it? Lecture 28 means previous one?
No, sir. 28th lecture, sir. I mean, uh,
BT dependence. Can you please tell me, because I have a different notes here. What is the
so
topic
you
of that
just
one?
now opened the silicon
Okay,
charge equation, and then we are
okay,
approximating
okay,
for
okay.
differentiation.
Right. Huh. Well, okay, by the way, this time is up for this course, for this class. So if you have a class, anybody, you can leave. Thank you, Prithviraj, for your kind of encouraging words, appreciation. So it's not just your, like I keep getting appreciations from Pilani also. I don't know, many people from Pilani are also referring to this YouTube channel. So now what I'm suggesting is you can, since I have made it public in YouTube, you can speak about this with your friends in Goa, BITS Goa, or IITs anywhere, everyone. So because I'm anyway offering this course, I want everybody to take a benefit of this if they think it is worth it. If they think that it is nonsense, they can simply watch anything else on YouTube. Okay,
So
yes, what is the
the
problem?
next chapter, sir. I mean, the next PDF.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. In the weak inversion region, sir.
right.
Yes, sir. Intrinsic condition and weak inversion region. There, in the last equation, like CSI,
Hmm.
silicon capacitor. The before one, sir, when we are when we are differentiating it with 5s,
Hmm.
uh, you have written it as minus 2 phi f by phi t, but it should not be, it should not that from that. I mean, 2 by phi t we get
We will get 2
2
by
by phi t.
uh, let's see, we are taking T5. Huh, 2 by 5t. Yeah. Correct.
So
One more also, like the dominating factor thing
Just
is
wait.
also
Let me just. Let me just. Very nice. You are studying. Hmm.
actually, we have come to your office cabin. I mean, two times,
Okay.
sir, but we
No, I am actually decked up in a lot of work,
so plus 2
especially.
by phi t.
Uh-huh. Just a second. This is minus 2 by phi t. This phi t, I'm bringing it out, right? So it will go
Plus
minus.
2 by phi t, right?
Hmm?
Plus 2 by phi t, because 2 phi s by phi t differentiated 2 by phi t.
No, this phi s is gone, right? So you'll be left with minus. Okay, this will be plus
Yes, sir.
only. Okay, got it. Any other mistake here? Let's check.
Yes, sir. The same approximation you have taken for the onset of moderate inversion also, there has to be a change. Yes, again, 2
No, no,
phi
no, no,
f
no,
by
no,
phi.
no, 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 no. Wait. This is your QSI, right?
Yes,
In
sir.
the limit when phi s is 2 phi f. I did not notice this. You are replacing phi s by 2 phi f, right? So what happens here?
Anyway, after differentiation, then if we
In
substitute it
fact,
with
in
2 phi,
fact, this will go. This will not even be there.
yes, sir.
Okay. So if it is this, then basically,
Then we have to submit phi s equal to 2 phi f on this side also, right, sir? I mean, in the
huh?
second term.
So if this will become phi f, phi s minus 2 phi f. Then this becomes equal to 0 only, no?
Yes, sir.
Then you will not be getting the this is the onset of inversion. So here, if you are putting here 2 phi f, 2 phi f, that is 2 phi f by phi t. Here, if you put then this becomes 0. So if that becomes 0, like if you're putting phi s equal to 2πf here, this becomes 0. No, in that case, this is the same as the previous one. You're going into the depletion region kind of thing. Okay, so that is the reason why we are putting this limit. Okay, so I think what would be better is that will become 2/5t if you keep, okay. If you are keeping 2/5t here, it is 2/5t. This is phi s minus 2πf.
Remaining is fine, sir.
Then you are, if you are putting phi s equal to 2πf here, then this is gone. So all I'm suggesting here is that let us not replace phi s by 2πf. I think I will go by your derivation only, 2/5t and this. Okay, because I do not want to put phi s equal to 2πf. If we get that, then basically this effect over here
Yes, sir.
is simply lost.
And that limit phi s tends to 2πf is benefited for us to make this approximations a binomial approximation.
Binomial approximation, yes. So that is basically what we are essentially speaking over here. Like, why are we, instead of this exponential, why are we choosing only this binomial exponential binomial expansion? Okay, that's what.
Similarly, in the onset of moderate inversion also, you have taken here 2πf by 5t whole to the power of 1/2.
Where is it?
In the third line from the end, sir, of onset of moderate inversion. Like, yes. So if you derivate it, not there, sir, not there. Here in the down, like again in the capacitance, CSI. Minus
Okay.
2π.
But here will I have the phi t? No, phi t I have taken outside. Yeah.
Again plus 2, right, sir?
It will become plus 2. Yeah. But this phi t I have taken outside.
Then depletion, maximum depletion capacitance will be 2 epsilon Si QNA into 2/5t.
Where is it?
The final capacitance.
2/5t. If this is gone, then this 2 comes outside. You are going to have this phi s. This is q dep max. So this is the q dep max, twice epsilon si QNA. 2 by, okay, this phi f is gone, you are saying?
Yes, sir.
No, that will essentially end up in a, no, then there is a, because these potentials will be cancelled. You are not going to, otherwise there will be dimensional issue. Okay, I will get back to you on this, okay? Because I have to look out where I have made a mistake somewhere here. Okay, I'll just look into this and probably upload a video on this or explain it. Okay.
सर वो like dominating factor के बारे में थोड़ा बताइएगा बात please.
एक second.
In 4 and 5 only. In 4 and 5. हाँ.
Here, right?
Yes.
हाँ, बोलो. Dominating factor where is?
Dominating factor like हाँ वो क्यों कैसे बन रहा है मतलब कि in that exponential term will be like.
Oh, okay.
In the 4 and 5. In the 4 and 5. 4 and 5.
No, 4 and 5.
हाँ.
Over here, what? Look at this phi s over here. Phi s is less than 2πf. Okay, so that means, but phi s is greater than phi f. as a consequence, first of all, phi s is greater than phi f. That means it is positive. अगर positive है, then e to the power of phi s minus phi s by phi t is going to be a very small term. So this is absent. Okay, this is going to be very small because it is negative of a positive number. And always do not forget that the phi t is in millivolts and phi s will be in volts. So that means e to the power of ऐसा क्या आ जाएगा -1 by, okay, so e to the power of minus a huge quantity. Okay, so that is the reason why this is going to be very small. And if you notice the other terms, phi s by phi t minus 1, this term is simply multiplied with e to the power of minus 2 phi f by phi t. Okay, so that means this will also be very less. Whereas this phi s minus 2 phi f, the first product jo hoga na, so that means e to the power of phi s minus 2 phi f by phi t, phi s minus 2 phi f. So this term is going to be a very small value, but still, and phi s is again greater than phi f. So these red box over here, that will be the dominating over these other three terms. That will be much more compared to the other ones. This is still very small. These are also small with respect to this. Okay, why is this phi s minus phi t neglected with respect to this? Is also phi s by phi t because this is getting multiplied by e to the power of minus 2 phi f by phi t. Okay, na? Whereas if you're going to number 5, if you notice here also it's the same thing which I have done here. The same terms are essentially the dominating factors. Okay, in one case I have put phi s equal to 2 phi f. In the other case I have put as a limit. I will explain this discrepancy in the next. I'll upload it.
Sir,
Okay, yeah.
sir, in
Yeah.
point 4, when we are applying the limit,
Mhm.
so in QSI, there is half power also, na? Means this whole term is also in the limit.
This half will come here. I will look into this. I mean, I think I have made some calculation error over here. I'll have to look. Okay, I'll revise this and upload. Okay, this part, I think I made a mistake. Thank you. I really appreciate that you found out my mistakes. What I'm suggesting is that you go through the entire course. Wherever I've made a mistake, you just point it out. Okay. In fact, what I will do is I'll put one errata on the YouTube also. Many people are following that YouTube channel. Okay. Thank you. This is also getting recorded, as you can see. Okay. Thanks a lot for joining. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.